Take a look at the logo on the screen right now, guys. This is the rumored new logo for SmackDown when they arrive on Fox. And you wonder why I don't review the main roster. The hype has been for months. Big changes when it comes to Fox. They're going to have to give a shit. They're going to have to change the product. They're going to have to make it better when they go to Fox. Huge changes, gigantic changes, more adult content, less goofy garbage. Maybe we'll push people like Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross and Ember Moon and the people we need to push, and we're going to get rid of the other people, and we're going to not treat you guys like idiots. At least on SmackDown, we're going to give you some more NXT-like product on SmackDown, because that's what Fox wants. They want a sports product. We're just going to give you a new logo. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a graphic designer. This is why I go to my buddy Salvador Salcido for every graphic you see on this channel. Check him out if you need graphics for yourself. By the way, but this looks like it was designed by a 12-year-old for the next Michael Bay movie. So in a couple of months, we are getting WWE presents SmackDown on Fox, presented by 12-year-old Michael Bay. For the love of God, let's talk about NXT. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal, Spass Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, and this is your NXT review for June 12th, 2019. How are you guys doing tonight? I am doing fine. I did not expect this to be not in Full Sail, because I haven't read any of the spoilers. We're in Bel Air tonight, which is interesting, and ironically, we did not have Bianca Belair on the show, so that's a good start right off the bat, isn't it? We had a bigger crowd than Full Sail, which is great. Not quite as big as a takeover crowd, which made it still intimate enough, so it's that happy medium, and it was really, really good. And it's a simple little change, and they have the simple little entrance like they do at house shows, and it was just different enough to be really neat. And we didn't get tied up in a whole lot of extra rigmarole. We just had some really, really cool matches. Now, the first one we're going to talk about was not great, because the horsewomen, the last two horsewomen are still not that great, but they had Candice LeRae and Io Shirai to drag them through, did they not? I do think we should do the house cleaning, because there's stuff that I need to say, as always. I keep breaking the promise to you guys that I'm going to get back to doing NXT UK reviews, because every week I think that I'm going to stretch out a moment to get it done. It just doesn't get done. I'm going to level with you guys, as I always try to do. It comes on at 3 in the afternoon for myself here. I do not drive. I get off work at 3:30. I take the bus. I get home in about an hour. I come home a half hour after that show has ended. So now I have to literally find time to watch the show. And it sucks to say that, because it sounds like a chore, and it's really not. I like the NXT UK brand. I like the people. I like Toni Storm specifically. They're women's champion at the moment. But it's just working it into the week, because I do this, I upload this. There are some other people that I like to watch later on in the night, specifically Joe Cronin, OKFave, etc. Anybody that's not JD or the Married Marks. Let's be real for a second. But then Thursdays are usually the night that I do collabs. Little side note, I'm going to be doing a recap / commentary on Double or Nothing with Guapo. Hopefully tomorrow night that'll get up for you guys Friday. And then, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're into you know, the weekend and whatnot. So the week gets away from me a lot faster than I think I would assume or would want to tell you guys. So once again, it goes back to, I told you guys, if ever anything falls off, it's going to be the NXT UK reviews, because I like doing this. NXT proper is still the flagpole of this show. The collabs with Kristen, Guapo, and, you know, whoever else I can wrestle up eventually. I hope to get more co-hosts somewhere along the way, are the bread and butter. Really, the collabs, including the pay-per-view previews, the topical videos, the fantasy booking, and all that sort of thing. All that kind of goes into one category. So we have that. We have this, where I sort of do the house cleaning and let you guys know everything that's up. And then we have the Q&As that are also a thing. As I'm going to say, you know, go to the annotation. Please add yourself to the Q&A. Zohan, I already see you. You're in there like you always are. But yeah. So we're back to NXT UK falling off the map, and I apologize for that. I apologize for keeping on coming up here and telling you guys, yeah, I'm going to get around to it, and I just don't. So I'm not, unfortunately. I'm still going to cover them as far as the pay-per-view goes, they've got TakeOver UK Cardiff that is the same day as All Out, isn't it? Is the same day as All Out? I think so. That's what's got everybody all up in arms. There's an NJPW show in the UK on the same day. Everybody's all up in arms. Oh, WWE's trying to take us out, and they're really not. Calm the fuck down. But when we get to that, I will be all caught up, and I will be able to do a pay-per-view pick'em for, or not a pay-per-view pick'em because we don't do that anymore, but a get hyped, as I've been calling the preview series now, which is lame. But I mean, when I called it the pay-per-view pick'em, it was lame, and when I called Ask the Phoenix, it was lame, and then it just sort of stuck. So get hyped is what you're stuck with right now. I'm probably going to be doing that by myself because I don't think Kristen or Guapo watch NXT UK, but I've got Guapo with me doing the AEW stuff now, so it all sort of balances out in the end. I do have some things to say about Super Showdown in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia, etc. I will stick that in to make that part of some other video. Sorry, some other video at some point. I don't think it's going to get its own video. We might talk about it a little bit when we talk about Stomping Ground, and then if that does happen, I'll clip it out and make it a little clip like I've done for some of the other topical things that you've seen us do. But as far as a Saudi Arabia review, no, I'm not going to be doing that. We could just talk about how sad Undertaker and Goldberg is, and I don't want to do that. And there's something we're going to talk about later on tonight, which is really happy, and we can talk about that in its proper context. I really don't know what else. I don't write down the house cleaning anymore, because I should just know it, and I don't. Go check out the playlists for previous NXT stuff. Check out the topical videos of the previous... I would say go check out the previous pay-per-view previews, but those pay-per-views have now happened, so I don't know how relevant they are. As I say, Guapo has been working with me on what we're going to do to talk about AEW. I'm not going to be reviewing AEW either, but we could do the previews, etc. I'm rambling a whole bunch because I feel like crap and I'm only half awake, and that's just how it goes. Sometimes we're 5 minutes into the video already. I really do apologize. I had to do that rant at the beginning about the new SmackDown logo because it looks pretty shit too. The new SmackDown logo looks like it was made by the same people that made the 24/7 title. 24/7 title is in a box with R-Truth on the way to LA. This is why I don't talk about the main roster, guys. It really, and like, okay, this is really diverting off of NXT because we're going to talk about NXT, I promise. But you had the 24/7 title. Now you've got this SmackDown leaked logo, whatever. You got the Stomping Ground boot. It's just bad. It's just really, really bad. And they're all rematches from Saudi Arabia. And I'm looking forward to TakeOver Cardiff. I'm looking forward, as much as you would probably be surprised to hear this from me, I'm looking forward to... All Out. I'm looking forward to TakeOver Cardiff. I am looking forward to the SummerSlam weekend, which isn't until August because I'm going, which means I'm looking forward to Destiny Wrestling's Icons 2 show, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I wish it was televised so I could share more of it with you, but you guys know me. I'll get you the highlights and all that sort of thing. SCU versus OVE. Let's get in. Anyways, NXT for tonight, for the 12th. It's the 6th month, but that's why it's June 12th, 2019. Fuck me, I'm tired. Candice LeRae and Io Shirai versus Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir are not polished. Basically, I could go through the whole match, but really, Io Shirai is previously injured. Candice LeRae tries to take on the majority of the match herself, gets double teamed a lot by the larger MMA women. Io Shirai gets the hot tag and does do a bunch of cool stuff. 619. Why? Really? Somebody else is gonna have to get that. I'm not even stopping the video this time. Yep. There we go. She had a 619 springboard dropkick. Shirai does the Baszler. Sorry, got ahead of myself there. Baszler shows up on the rampway. She's, being all menacing. I could stick myself in at any time. Shirai sees her, does the Baszler like stand up arm stomp thing as she's looking at Baszler. Double knees by Shirai in the corner. Baszler tries to do a run in. She gets hit by a moonsault by Io Shirai to the outside, which is great. Suicide dive on Duke and Shafir by LeRae. Baszler eats the steps on the outside. The ref throws out the match because reasons, even though technically nobody got involved. I don't think. Shrai and Baszler brawl through the crowd. Duke and Shafir brawl 2-on-1 with Candice on the ramp, which doesn't turn out too well for Candice LeRae, I gotta say. Where's Johnny Gargano to help out his woman, etc.? He's busy licking his wounds from losing the NXT title, I would assume. And they're not going to be televised together because they're not Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. That's a dig at Raw. It's that kind of week, guys. The best thing on Raw is the Firefly Funhouse. The best thing on SmackDown, even though most people disagree with me and you're wrong, are the Aleister Black come pick a fight with me promos. Those are great because he's like all calm and somber and then he's like shouting out the door for reasons. I wanted somebody to like throw a beach ball at him or something just to fuck with him. Anyways, for reasons, we get highlights from Dream versus Breeze at TakeOver, which is great. We saw those last week. We saw Velveteen Dream doing like one of the selfie promos, which is kind of funny. It's kind of a dig at Breeze because the selfie thing is his thing. But he doesn't really say much. He talks about how brilliant and how gorgeous and how revered it is. Oh, but I'm not talking about the title. I'm talking about myself. And then you figure he's going to go on to talk about how he won the match. He just doesn't. He just talks about everything you would say about the belt and says, oh no, I'm just talking about myself. And then he fucks off. We see another preview for Damian Priest because he's debuting next week. I don't know whether they're back in Full Sail next week. Somebody can tell me down in the box below. But what do we have? We have one of the two matches that we were really... I can speak, I swear. Words are hard. One of the two matches we were looking forward to going into this week, and it should have been the main event. I'm going to say it right off the bat, and once again, I'm going to put my flag in the ground and say this is why Gulak should be on NXT, not 205 Live. I mean, 205 Live has Chad Gable with his really funny haircut and his notepad, doesn't it? So they're fine. Fuck. NXT is the only thing we have left, guys. But Kushida versus Drew Gulak in a submission match. I love Kushida's music. I love his entrance. When he first came in, and I was like, okay, you know me when I'm checking out a new guy, and I'll give you guys what I initially think. And, you know, his entrance is a little different. I had to get over the... I'm scratching my nose a lot tonight. I swear I'm not on drugs, guys. You're going to have to take my word on that one. But... Seriously? Seriously. I'm not getting it. There we go. I love Kushida's music. That's the point I was trying to make. I liked his entrance. I had to get over the Back to the Future thing, but after I got over the Back to the Future thing and realized what a fun character he is, it then gives me a chance to go back and check out just his entrance for his entrance sake, and I really like the music that they get. I don't know if that's music that he's brought with him. I don't know whether he did the R-Truth thing and just brought the music with him, or whether that's the music that CFOS $ did for him. But either way, I really, really like it. I said when I first heard it, it sounds sort of like a rock opera. I haven't really changed my opinion on that, but I'm really, really into it. And now that I've seen a bit of what he does in the ring, it sort of fits. There's some awesome chain wrestling to start, as you would expect from a submission match. A test of strength, a body scissor by Kushida, and a collar and elbow tie, and a single leg by Kushida. Cross arm breaker by Kushida, and who turns it into a cross arm and shoulder breaker. Right hands by Gulak. Handspring heel kick by Kushida. Armbar by Kushida. Power slam by Gulak. Twice. Gory special by Gulak. Gory special by Gulak, but he literally wraps his arms around like a fucking scarf. Made it look really, really nasty. A grounded key lock, a side headlock by Gulak, an elbow across the eyes. Side headlock, got him really, really flat down on the ground, and then he's just rubbing the elbow and the forearm across the eyes. It's just those little touches, and it's just, he's so good on NXT. I remember watching him on 205 Live and being like, yeah, he's good, but I don't really give a shit. For some reason, and yes, it's the smaller crowd. Yes, it's the intimate atmosphere. Yes, it's everything that worked in his favor for the Cruiserweight Classic. But being on NXT, and he's got that vibe about him where it's just, I'm just here to have good matches. The match with Riddle and now the two matches with Kushida are proof of that. Where was I? Kicks by Kushida, rolling clotheslines and a hip toss. Enziguri by Kushida, a tornado DDT into a cross arm breaker. Ankle lock by Kushida. Ankle lock by Kushida is countered by Drew Gulak into one of his own with a leg lock. He trades some kicks on the apron, and Kushida hits him with a Rana from the apron back into the ring, and both of them end or sorry, both of them land really ugly and really awkwardly. They trade some forearms in the ring. There's a drop kick by Gulak, a handspring elbow by Kushida, and a kick to the arm. The kick to the arm sets up for a tornado. Looks like it's going to be a tornado DDT, but he uses the tornado to get himself into the hoverboard lock, and the hoverboard lock gets a quick tap out by Gulak, selling the effectiveness of that move amazingly. I don't think he's won by submission yet, has he? He's won with other things, and that's not really specific at all. That's my brain sort of leaking out over here somewhere. Now, Gulak tapped out super quick, didn't even bother trying to hold on, sold the move really well, put over the new guy, I guess you could say. And I really hope they don't use him as a Ziggler, because I do think he needs to have some success in his own right. He doesn't have too bad of an entrance either, really, does he, now that I think of it. After the match, you got Kushida, who's obviously the babyface, super respectful, you know, giving a little bow and applauding Gulak with the crowd. And Gulak sort of steps up to his face, and they do that thing. They do that thing where the guy still looks intense, and he still looks angry, and he still looks frustrated, but at the end of the day, puts his hand out and shows the respect, leaves the ring, leaves the ring for the victor, and Kushida takes his bow in front of the crowd and leaves. This was a really good match, and I promise you, as awesome as I am, and as much as you guys love me, as much as I'm the best thing on YouTube, I'm really not the best thing on YouTube. I am not nearly doing this match justice. I will not say, hey, this is one of the best matches of the year. I'm not going to say, hey, this is the best match on NXT. I will say, even if you don't have the network, and if you don't have the network, you're not watching NXT, which means you're not watching an NXT review, which means you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But I will say, if you are one of those weirdos that just goes and checks YouTube to see what happened on NXT, I will say go on YouTube, because you're already here, and look for this match, and find just this match. If you don't watch anything else on this show, just watch this match. As I said, opening match could have been better. It's fine. This is how you introduce a new guy. Don't want to keep taking digs at the main roster, but this is how you debut a new guy. We get the announcement that Baszler and Shirai are going to have a title match in a cage in 2 weeks, and that just makes every bit of me happy, because that means we're going to get Io Shirai out of the way and hopefully get Mia Yim in that title shot in Toronto, because I'm dreaming out loud, because that's what I want to see, because I'm going to be there if I haven't mentioned it enough already. This is where I'm going to talk about Super Showdown for a second, because Mansoor is an NXT guy, and watching this show and watching people react on Twitter, watching people on reviews like OKayFabe, Joe Cronin, etc., that don't know who this guy is, it kind of bummed me out, because we that are watching NXT, we've seen this guy come in. He's had a couple of matches, and I find him to be really entertaining. I've said a couple of times now, he has a charisma and a style very, very similar to Ali, and we see how good Ali is doing at the moment. But Mansoor getting the win in the 50-man Battle Royal in Saudi Arabia. Now, yes, there's a lot of politics going into the Saudi Arabian shows. Yes, most of the rest of the show was hot garbage, but the minute he won, when he had his little victory speech and the crowd was reacting and he was celebrating with the crowd, if you can't parse out all your political bullshit and enjoy that 1 minute of that show, then I'm sorry, unequivocally, you are doing it wrong. Because that was a cool feel-good moment. And if you're going to say that can't happen at all, you're telling this new guy, who's pretty fucking awesome for a new guy, that he can never have a happy hometown moment. And that is not cool. I know that goes against everything. The Saudi Arabian shows are bad, the blood money, the reporter, the whole fucking deal, and I'm not taking anything away from that. Please understand, I have absolute respect for anybody that didn't watch the show for whatever reason. I have absolute respect for anybody that doesn't like that these shows happen for the political reasons, for the greater global ramifications. I get all that. I respect all that. You guys are entitled to your opinion. If you want to hear my detailed opinion of it, go back to the commentary that Kristen and I did on Crown Jewel. I explain my opinions a whole lot right there. But in a nutshell, in a bubble, if you couldn't take this moment, or at least hear about this moment, and at least put it on the shelf for a moment, then I'm sorry. Personally, in my opinion, I think you're doing it wrong. We're getting the Adam Cole Championship celebration next week on NXT, which really makes me think they're going to be back in Full Sail. As I say, I haven't read the spoilers. Adam Cole is not here, but you know who is here? The rest of Undisputed Era. Strong and O'Reilly. Bobby Fish is there too in an arm sling because he fucked himself up in the ladder match at TakeOver. So it's Strong and O'Reilly, who were the tag team champions when Fish was out anyway. So that kind of makes sense. And they're taking on Lorcan and Birch, who I really like. And I want to say, there is nothing wrong with any of the people in this match. I like every single person in this match. I like Strong, it took me a while. I like O'Reilly, it took me a while. Lorcan and Birch, I've liked since they teamed them up. They had that Sheamus and Cesaro thing where they were fighting each other, beating the crap out of each other, and then they decided they'd make a good tag team instead. I like everybody in this match, and I couldn't tell you why, and I can't put my finger on it. I couldn't get excited about this match, guys. I really couldn't, and it's not because it was bad. These guys were busting their ass in this ring tonight. It really is the overwhelming feeling, and if I do have one thing bad to say about NXT, or not even bad, just critical, or just a little bit, you could tweak this, it's in that category. There's a lot of NXT shows where the match that should have been the main event falls somewhere in the middle, and then whatever else is in the main event, be it a segment, be it another match, be it anything in between, it falls short because I can't help but think that it's in the wrong spot. I'm sorry, Gulak and Kushida, especially with the way the match ended, with the mutual respect and the spotlight on Kushida, that would have been really cool to end the show. There is a cool ending to this show as well, and we're going to get to it, but it has nothing to do with the match itself. So I hope you guys get what I mean by that. If you agree, if you disagree, put it down in the box below. Ironically, or sorry, out of curiosity, I want to know what you guys think should have main evented this show tonight. Tell me down in the box below. If you think the tag team match was better, if you think the tag team match was a main event worthy match, then please, you know, without being a dick, you know, open discussion being what it is, tell me down in the box below why this was the main event, if you believe that it belonged there. I mean, the opening match was the opening match, because you could only go up from that. Shafir and Duke, they're there with a lot of enthusiasm, as I say. But I'm really glad that that was the opening match. Anyways, we start in the match, and all four guys are in there, and all the testosterone is filling the ring, and they're all growling and grimacing at each other. And then we actually start the match proper. Lorcan and O'Reilly start off the match with a collar and elbow tie. Knee bar by O'Reilly and a series of kicks. Knee strikes in the corner by O'Reilly. Both men trade some... I can't read my writing because it's terrible. Both men trade some strikes in the corner. Boot by O'Reilly. Uppercut by Lorcan. Both men trade some punches, and all then get in the ring again, and they all sort of brawl. There's a suicide senton by Lorcan to Strong and O'Reilly on the outside. Can't rip paper, apparently. Corner clotheslines by Birch and an uppercut. Half and half suplex by Lorcan and a knee strike by Birch. Right hand by Birch and a boot by Strong. Corner chops by Strong and a mudhole stomp and a backbreaker. The backbreaker, I will say, the lift he got on this backbreaker, and it was the only backbreaker in the match. Because they mentioned him being the messiah of the backbreaker, and that you only hit one backbreaker in the match. It's not a typical Roderick Strong match where it's a backbreaker every 5 seconds. So that in itself was a little bit different. That's where they get a lot of credit. I would get sick. This is one of those things where it took me a long time to appreciate Roderick Strong, because he's just backbreaker after backbreaker after backbreaker. But he treats the backbreaker like an RKO, and it's never the same twice. But at the same time, the fact that there was only one backbreaker in this match that I could see, and I'm not going to lie, I might have glanced away a couple of times, made this one really, really stick out. Because like I say, he got the high elevation and he just dropped him like a ragdoll falling on a clothesline. That was a terrible metaphor. It's a really good thing this video is almost over. Double team by Strong and O'Reilly. O'Reilly works the midsection with shots and knees to the gut and to the ribs, etc. Boot by Strong and a crossface with a post on the back, working the midsection, which is great. Gutbuster by Strong and knee drop by O'Reilly. All four men in the ring once again, trading punches, trading kicks, and then all the attention goes up the ramp because Jackson Riker, without his teammates, is on the ramp. He's trying to make his way to the ring. He's throwing all the officials in the ramp and around ringside around, and that's enough of a distraction for Danny Burch to get the roll up on, I think it was Strong. It doesn't really matter. But Lorcan and Burch get an upset victory. Undisputed Era get to look like idiots. And I don't really know how this works because the faces got a cheap win over the heels because of another heel. But I did come to a point because Jackson Riker, after the pay-per-view, did seem like a big deal because he had his moments in that match that he wasn't even in. So I've come to it, and this is where you guys, this is the point in the week where you guys can tell me that I'm absolutely crazy. Forgotten Sons, hear me out, should get called up to the main roster. Forgotten Sons are not finding their feet in NXT, I don't think. They've had spurts of impressive performances, absolutely, but they should be called up to the main roster because they, as a team, remind me of Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, and yeah, roll your eyes at Baron Corbin too. Baron Corbin, what the hell did Baron Corbin do in NXT? He wasn't really anything. Alexa Bliss wasn't really much in NXT other than a manager for Blake and Murphy, so there's a little bit of connectivity there. Braun Strowman wasn't really much. I think that Forgotten Sons could be somebody that actually benefits from a call-up to the main roster. And yeah, I know the tagline is nobody benefits from a call-up to the main roster. I agree with you guys. But the problem with that is, and why it doesn't work, or at least one of the smaller reasons why it doesn't work, is because everybody that comes up to the main roster comes up to the main roster after they've been riding high as a champion. So everybody that comes up to the main roster from NXT, we think they should be the champion because we just saw them as the champion. Finn Balor was just the champion of NXT, so he should be the champion of Raw. And then we immediately get disappointed because they got to start at the bottom again. You got to bring some bottom people up. Forgotten Sons are sort of on the south side of the mid-card on NXT. Bring them up onto Raw or SmackDown, they could be the south side of the mid-card there. And I mean, yeah, sure, you could have them go up against the New Day 3-on-3. You could do those kind of fun things and whatever. But I think that they've been on NXT, and NXT produces people that we care about a lot. And for the longest time, I've said that I want to like the Forgotten Sons, but they're missing something. And how do you not get invested to somebody in NXT unless their name is Bianca Belair? I think they're sort of like the Baron Corbin of tag teams or of factions or whatever you want to say. I do think, and you are free to tell me that I'm a psychopath down in the box below because I think it even as I'm saying it, but I think the Forgotten Sons of anybody in NXT right now are the only ones I could see justifying going up to the main roster. Because I will tell you this, and this will tell you how much of a low-key thing I'm thinking when I say this. I would rather see the Lucha House Party in a tag team match getting squashed by these guys, because I know they'll eventually go somewhere. They'll take Cutler and Blake and they'll put them in the tag team division. They'll probably lose for a while, whatever. They'll take Jackson Riker. He'll be like a scary guy and he's a crazy guy. He'll be Eric Young, except he's bigger enough than Aaron Young that Vince McMahon might actually trust him. But like Lars Sullivan right now, what are they doing with Lars Sullivan? He's going to beat up the Lucha House Party for a while, which people think is problematic. Different conversation for a different day. But where does he go from there? These guys, you could have them come in, squash the New Day, squash the Lucha House Party, and then they could actually do some stuff with them. Even if they're just there to fill out the numbers, even if they're just there to say, oh, we don't have enough tag teams. Well, they're going to push the popular tag teams. Obviously, they're going to push the Revival and the Usos and whatever. But why not have Cutler and Blake there to take a pin to the Usos rather than, I don't know, Cesaro and Sheamus again? Or the New Day again, or somebody trying to breathe some life into the Colognes. Main roster needs a bottom of the card, and if you got a bottom of the card NXT, couple of guys, make them part of the bottom of the card on thing, because there's people on the bottom of the card on Raw that we don't care about, and those are the guys chasing the 24/7 title. Now, I'm not saying I want Jackson Riker to go after the 24/7 title, because Jackson Riker versus R-Truth in any sort of actual match would make me laugh a whole bunch. I don't really know what I'm saying anymore, but maybe it's the guys on the bottom of NXT that will benefit from a call-up rather than the guys at the top of NXT. That being said, Lacey Evans is still terrible, so maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've rambled quite long enough. I've been rambling for almost a half hour now. You guys have gotten to watch me ignore my phone twice. How do you like that? Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all of these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, tagging out. Bye, guys.